Dr. Stevens, thank you for your support as I take over the role of Chief Physician of the GRE. While I understand the higher-ups need a scapegoat for the virus leak, your expulsion seems counterproductive. All the more reason to thank you for agreeing to review my reports before I send them to the GRE board. October 20th, 2021. A GRE report on the state of the epidemic. With the first cases in Zurich and Paris, the plague spread like wildfire. We're dealing with a variant of the 2014 strain. We call it tachytransmissive heron virus, or THV. It's deadly and highly transmissible. We recommend immediate action. All European borders must be closed immediately. All civilian air and rail services suspended. National governments must introduce civil procedures as follows. Isolate individuals thought to be infected. Quarantine anyone who's been in close contact with them. Issue shelter-at-home orders immediately. As for the dead, bodies should be incinerated. Implementing restrictions now will slow the spread of the virus. We need time to create a vaccine and have begun working with private sector companies. Our diligence in the coming weeks will decide on our fate. December 19th, 2021. GRE report on the state of the epidemic. Firstly, I must comment on the news report now circulating. It has damaged our credibility in the eyes of the world. Yes, the virus may have leaked from a GRE lab, but we cannot dwell on the past if we are to have a future. The data shows that the THV strain is far more contagious than previously known. So far, only Anton has proven reliable in stopping the virus's spread. However, we found in Villedor the same results as in the other 20 candidate cities. The UV light affects the virus in a similar way. It stops the virus's spread without eliminating it from the body. Nonetheless, at this rate, in a few weeks, more than half of humanity will be infected. Accordingly, we must now enter the second phase of the protocol. Government should now outlaw the following. The operation of any business not deemed an essential service. Gatherings of more than 4 people not sharing the same household. Free movement by any civilians who are not first responders or essential workers. In short, we recommend that martial law be declared. We may still bring this situation under control. January 24th, 2023. GRE report on the state of the epidemic. I'm sorry to report that infection numbers are going up, not down. The mortality rate in Europe has increased from 45,000 cases per week to 320,000. In Ukraine and Poland, the number of cases has increased by 400% each week. In Russia and Spain, healthcare systems are completely overwhelmed. Despite the mobilization of the military and the closure of borders, despite implementing containment measures in the 20 most impacted cities, the protocol is failing us. We now have to face the facts and admit that nowhere is safe. Russia's military has begun a campaign of genocide against those even suspected of infection. It pains me to say what follows, but there is little hope of survival for most of the world's current population. Thus, we at the GRE must pivot. Look at the bigger picture to prevent mankind's extinction. Speed up our actions. Time is short. We must centralize resources and start operating at the very heart of events. Enhance our efforts to bring humanity a cure. Start making immediate decisions. But also, and my voice trembles when I say this, radical ones. 11 months have passed since we arrived in Villador. With us are the leaders of 6 major European countries and their combined militaries. The Council of Mankind. April 13th, 2024. GRE report on the state of the epidemic. The report is about Villador, the last major city left in the world. All others have fallen. This city is humanity's last hope. The Council of Mankind is doing its best to protect the city as the GRE studies THV in controlled circumstances. The protocol. Unrest among the citizens is growing as thousands of immigrants gather outside the walls. The military safeguards the border, but some leaders are worried the situation might escalate. Inside, crime is on the rise as supplies grow scarce. Civilians have started to form militia groups, patrolling the streets with guns. General Pratt ordered them to disband and confiscated all privately owned weapons. This led to many protests all over the city, attended by thousands. At one gathering, the military opened fire. 64 civilians were killed. People call it the March Massacre. I have reason to believe we are on a downward spiral now. I've never been religious. But if there's a God, then this virus is the devil. And we are in hell. August 8th, 2024. GRE report on the state of the epidemic. Uncontrolled rioting grips the city. Last month, an angry mob raided a supply ship moored at the wharf, damaging it. Soldiers panicked and threw crates of ammo overboard to prevent them from being seized by the angry mob. Thank God they kept safe the medical supplies we need to increase antizin production. But let us not forget, antizin is not a cure. It merely inhibits the virus. Immigrants deemed useful are being granted entry to the city. This selection process has sparked even more outrage and further violence.
Katsumi, did you allow treatment of wounded rioters at your Central Loop clinic?
General Pratt, these people require medical attention. Doctors take an oath.
For fuck's sake! Your clinic is now the epicenter of a THV outbreak! 4 doctors have tested positive!
What? Oh, God!
The clinic is to be isolated immediately, a quarantine zone established. If not, the virus will spread like wildfire. We're shutting down the VNC tower transmitter. If the only way to stop the riots is to block all communications and confine them to their homes, so be it. Proud of yourself, Katsumi?
October 2024. GRE report on the state of the epidemic. There's good news and bad news. The good news is GRE researchers are finally getting some promising results in clinical tests. The bad news is we are fighting against time for more than one reason. The riots have gotten out of control. Rumors have begun to spread, reminding the population that the GRE was responsible for the virus in the first place. Someone is distributing defamatory flyers. Some of my colleagues suspect the Army. Can't believe it, but Pratt has cut off communications with the GRE. It appears the military has decided to use the GRE as a scapegoat for all this turmoil. But maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am.
There she is! She's one of those murdering doctors, too!
Stop! Stop! What are you doing?
Shut the hell up, murderer! You're about to get some of your own medicine!
You're making a mistake. I'm trying to help. If you blame science, we're all going to die!
Captain Posner to Colonel Williams. Status report for Monday, December 16th, 2024. One of my men needed a doctor immediately, so I hurried to the nearest garrison led by Major Matt. It seemed the wisest course of action, all things considered. The squad doesn't know I'm working on a morale assessment. The news of General Pratt's death had little emotional impact on the men. They did not respect him, believing that he had lost control of the situation a long time ago and was unable to make difficult decisions. They have a lot of respect for you, sir. I've also spoken to Major Matt, but he's hard to read. He avoided mention of you, and that's significant. He has a group of loyal soldiers who are at his beck and call. He clearly revels in his power, and exhibits the behavior of a man who will always seek more power. Can you count on him? I will find out in the coming days. Captain Posner to Colonel Williams. Status report for Friday, January 3rd, 2025. As ordered, I continue my observation of Major Jack Matt. He's an efficient commander, greatly respected by others, and he runs a tight ship. When informed of a possible THV Genmod bombardment, he reacted with great agitation. He considers it too risky, not believing that this could be the last chance to save the city. Your concerns about whether we can rely on him seem justified. Matt gives the impression of being unpredictable and without due respect for chain of command. He barely conceals his dislike of you. I got some of his soldiers drunk and questioned them. Apparently, Matt thinks you've stymied his career. I don't know what happened between the Major and you, Colonel, but Matt has a deep grudge against you. Not only is this unprofessional, it could also be dangerous. Captain Posner to Colonel Williams. Status report for Monday, January 6th, 2025. Colonel, the bombing ended tragically. We're talking thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands dead. Something unexpected occurred with some of the infected the THV Genmod was meant to eliminate. After initially appearing to be neutralized, many began to rise. We shot them. Returning to the nearby outpost to restock, we found the ammo rack destroyed. I found Matt and a handful of his men. The rest died in the bombing. Matt claims that he received no orders from you. He's furious, apoplectic even. Colonel, why weren't they evacuated? What happened here? Captain Posner to Colonel Williams. Status report for Monday, February 10th, 2025. Major Jack Matt's rebellion is gaining momentum. A large number of soldiers have deserted and joined him. They think that you intentionally neglected to inform Matt of the evacuation and left his squad to die. They don't know that Matt, according to my investigation, ignored the order and is responsible for the tragedy himself. And he certainly doesn't want anyone to know about it. Needless to say, the civilians hate us. The attacks are led by Juan Rayner, who has named his group the Revolutionary Committee. Rayner and Matt are joining forces more and more. The ongoing fights can already be described as a civil war. Old Villedor has become their main arena. We have already lost a lot of good men. The morale of the others has bottomed out. They have to fight against men who were, until recently, their brothers. You're right. The only way to stop this is to put Matt down as quickly as possible. I'm on his trail. Captain Posner to Colonel Williams. Status report for Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. Jack Matt's men have regrouped and set up their main base on a container ship in Central Loop. They've started calling themselves the Peacekeepers. Matt's created his own hierarchy and bestows his own military ranks. He suffers from profound delusions of grandeur, despite clear evidence that he's a traitor. He has broken his military oath and insists that his followers pledge allegiance to him and him alone. Their slogan is dignity, peace, brotherhood. It's horseshit. The man who started a civil war speaks of peace and dignity. You are right. It becomes more evident every day that he is a sick, dangerous man. He wants to kill you, Colonel. It's his obsession in order to keep the truth about him hidden. That's why we have to kill him first. I have a man on the ship who feeds me intel. He'll let me know when there's a good time to get Matt. Colonel, this is Posner. Date is June 11th, 2025. I am injured. It doesn't look too good. We probably won't play bridge anymore. That motherfucker. Matt, I had him with his back against the wall. He stabbed me in the gut. I know we've lost the triumphal arch, but we must not lose hope. Someone has to stop Matt. The fate of the people cannot be in the hands of such a man. Hopefully, my men will find this recording on my body and deliver it to you. Colonel, it was an honor to serve with you.
I'm recording this for posterity, so they can learn from my mistakes. To warn all who follow about the worst of plagues. And I am not referring to the virus. I was born into a very religious family. My earliest childhood memories? Prayer. Every morning and every evening. Knees scraped from constant contact with oak floorboards. When I grew up, I had a very hard time. I was lonely. I suffered. Despite my upbringing, I turned to religion for solace. It gave me the answers I sought. That I came to realize my father had tried to give me. To endure bullying is to earn heavenly rewards. God was my best friend, my only friend. I talked to him every day, and I believed that he listened to me and answered and loved me too. I felt like I owed him a debt. That's why I enrolled in seminary. I think I became a fanatic in a way. The urge to spread his teachings, convert others. It was not about God. It was about my own shortcomings. It was about me. There was something unhealthy about it. And dangerous. At the age of 23, I became a priest. Still just a snot-nosed kid, and I was supposed to be a shepherd of souls. I felt I was meant for this. I had answered the call. If God was with me, then who could be against me? I was full of conviction, faith that I could make the world a better place. But the world had other plans. Many times, I performed someone's last rites. I held their hands as they died. And in that last moment, in the millisecond before their last breath, I saw in them relief. Not because they were moving on to some kind of better world, to heaven, but because it was the end of something painful. They could finally bow out of the futile and exhausting dance of life. Their chore of living would be over. Their suffering would end. It was something completely incomprehensible to me. How can a person reject the gift of life? To accept death joyfully? For a person as strong as me, this was something very disturbing. Or maybe they knew about something that I had not seen? Did they see it in their last moment? This was the first crack in the edifice of my faith. And then, the epidemic started. There's a term for what came next. A crisis of faith. And with me, it started long before the epidemic. But when people started to turn into monsters, when city after city was eaten by darkness and poison, I started to wonder, where is God? Is he putting us through a trial? Or has he abandoned us? When Black Monday came, I no longer had any doubts. There is no God. There never was. Because of the THV Genmod bombings, 2 million people lost their lives. The streets carpeted with human corpses. What God would allow that? He would have to be infinitely cruel. Of course, other so-called men of the cloth offered nonsensical observations. That this was the will of God. Punishment for our wickedness. That Colonel Williams himself served as the hand of God. But that didn't matter anymore. The curtain had been torn off. People lost their faith. Because what were they supposed to believe in? No one wanted a god like that. And in that moment, to my own surprise, I felt free, as if I were a puppet who finally cut the strings that controlled him since birth. Free at last. After the Black Monday massacre, most people lost their faith. So did I. But it only took a few years before some people started to form cults that adapted elements like old deities and pagan faiths. They even started performing sacrifices, thinking someone would send them rain. People need shackles. They want to be controlled, lied to. They want someone to tell them how to live, what to do and what not to do. They prefer this to taking responsibility for their choices. Some researchers think religion is a linguistic virus that alters brain function and suppresses the ability for critical thinking. I repeated the same trite phrases for years, not thinking for a second about what I was actually saying. And what I was saying was mostly about instilling a feeling of guilt. It all dripped in evil, punishment, penance. Disgusting, oppressive baggage pressing you down into the dirt. But I tossed it off, as did thousands of others. The epidemic was a tragedy, but also a tremendous opportunity. An opportunity to fully free oneself from the bonds of religion. To stop believing in fairy tales and instead believe in yourself. That's what Francoise used to say, and I supported her vision. I joined her movement. Together, we can create a new community based on reason, mutual respect, empathy, and cooperation. One with room for everyone, including you.
Hello, Alice. I'm not sure if you know, but you've been in some woman's belly for a month now.
Some woman's? Why, you?
Fine. You should be resting, Mommy, because you shouldn't be getting so worked up in your condition.
Come on, you have to take this seriously.
Okay, seriously. Alice, I'm talking to you from the year 2021. Your birth is 5 months away. Now, we wanted to record this memento for you so you'll have something to look back on. And let me tell you, we're looking forward to meeting you. You know, we've been trying for a couple of years. You know, there were complications. And as a policeman, I worked very long hours. When we found out we had finally been blessed with you. Better stop for now. Frog in my throat. Better not tell your mom, because since she got pregnant, she's had a hankering to eat strange things!
What's that, hon?
Hey, little Alice. I know it's bad manners to mention a woman's age, but sorry, you're really getting up there. You're 6 months old. And I managed to wrangle 3 days paternity leave away from the station, which these days is a rare gift, trust me. We went to a park today. Your mom found it extremely funny to splash me with the water from a fountain, repeatedly. I have a feeling you'll be just like her. I hope so. Maybe you'll have more patience with idiots than I have. At the park, we met some self-righteous jerks. They said we shouldn't have brought you outdoors. You could be exposed.
Come on, honey. They were just showing their concern. These are scary times for some people.
See what I mean, Alice? Mommy is way more a people person than I am. I really do hope you take after her. Your daddy is more the crotchety type.
Don't listen to him. Your daddy's a marshmallow.
Alice, I'm gonna be honest with you. Hopefully, by the time you get to hear this virus thing will be ancient history. But you, baby, you are your mom's and my future. And we love you. And that's all you need to know. So there.
Dennis, they're in the streets again. Another protest.
Ignore it, honey. My buddies at Riot Control will handle them. it going in there, little Alice? Still dark, I'm guessing. Believe me, you're better off in there than out here. I got special orders now. We're supposed to monitor people's temperature, isolate them if they're hot. They're building these checkpoints throughout the city. Command keeps saying it'll all be okay. And that's what I tell people out there. But I don't know if I believe it myself.
How could it be okay? There's a cover-up going on. They faked the data about the virus's spread.
Don't go down that rabbit hole, honey. You'll get yourself worked up again.
I suppose you're right. Okay. I think I'll go and lie down for a while.
And what your mom really needs is a night out. Maybe a nice dinner. But everything's closed. People had work one day, none the next. It's gotten real tough out there. Even as a cop, I understand why people are taking to the streets. I'm trying to stay afloat, me and your mom. Not to expose ourselves, or, above all, you. I think I'd go crazy if something happened to you. And your mom, she's so stressed out. They sing, "You are my sunshine," to cheer her up. Because she is my sunshine. And you'll be our shining star. And together, you and your mom will drive away the shadows. That I have faith in. 2 months until your arrival. We'll be all right, little Alice. Hey, Alice. We couldn't get to a hospital. They're all closed because of the lockdown. And I was told the military hospital is reserved for wounded first responders, as well as officers. So, doctors say you're a high-risk pregnancy now. Already up to some mischief in there, eh? Good thing my buddy Leonard, Uncle Leo to you, is a doctor, or I'd rather not go down that path. Leo will deliver you here at home. He's bringing a nurse, so it'll happen just like in a hospital. Leo expects your mom to go into labor this week. He'll hightail it over here as soon as that happens. I don't like to admit this, but I'm scared. Yeah. Cops can get scared. Especially these days. Oh well. So much for these recordings being the joyful record of your pre-life life. But it's helping me somehow, you know? Talking to you. Since the walls are finished, they imposed martial law. We're supposed to enforce that. But clashes with civilians are becoming more and more violent. People are going crazy, looting, and worse, world's falling apart, my baby girl. I didn't know. Yeah. I couldn't know that at all. I'm so sorry. This is not the life I wanted for you.
It's January 7th, 2036. I found your recordings. I understand why you hid these from me. I was sad when you said this wasn't the life you wanted for me. You don't regret that I lived, do you? No. Of course not. I mean, sure, life is complicated. We just moved for the 10th time. We had to kill Rex. And then, you know, Mom died. But hey, I've got all my limbs. I have enough food to eat. I have friends. I have you. And after 14 years of zombie shit, I think I turned out all right. I see every day how hard it was for you, and how you try to make life better for me. And that, well, if it wasn't for me, you might not. I can't even say that. I don't know what life used to be like. I only know the world as it is now. And I just want to tell you that, well, I don't know, that I'm happy to be alive, you know? And that I'm grateful for that. Anyway, happy 50th birthday, Dad. And believe that Mom's still shining her light on you to keep those dark thoughts away. I love you, Papa.
My name is Anton Novak, and I'll be a fucking legend! Sorry. I couldn't help myself. I'm recording this for you, Pops. You want to hear a secret? When you do, I bet you'll be ashamed of yourself. All my life, you told me I wouldn't amount to anything. But then I became a PK. What'd you do? Called me a traitor. Then Dad explained that the PK don't give a shit about us. The people of the bazaar. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Pops. There ain't no one I don't give a rat's ass about, Pops. I'll show you what I'm made of. Today, some guy I didn't recognize approached me. Said if I was looking to be a hero, I was looking in the wrong place. And that I have potential. I never heard that from you. Said to meet him on the roof of the old textile factory at midnight. And here I am. Like an idiot. What am I doing here? Maybe I wanted to show you. I wanted you to see. Oh shit. What the? Dude's jumping between buildings like a fucking panther. Fuck. I can't let him find me.
Come on out, kid. I know you're here. I'm Killian.
Hey, Pops. I just got back from training with Killian. Says my body's gotta be strong enough for the first shot. I don't know what the fuck that's all about, but Killian's a great guy. Kind of a taskmaster, though. Been keeping me at arm's length. I don't think he entirely trusts me because I was a PK. All I know about them is they are Nightrunners. Yep, them. The ones people are talking about, Pops. They help people. They fight bandits, clear areas of virals. Now, they really believe this world can be restored. And I'll be one of them. You'll see. Hey, Pops. I don't feel too good. Got that first shot today. Whew. Found out they had their eye on me for a while. Stole my PK medical files, found out my blood type. Then Killian recruited me. This shot contains some crap they call inhibitors. A blend of antizin and a THV derivative. They say it kills 95% of people who take it. That's why only a handful become Nightrunners. The chosen ones. The survivors, they mean. And that means me now. Killian says I have one of the strongest metabolisms he's ever seen. Soon, I'll be like him. Jumping around buildings like a fucking grasshopper. I can imagine you shaking your head at all this. Especially getting shot up. You gotta look past that. We have a chance to make a difference. To be the light in the darkness. That's what Killian says. In a couple of days, we're heading into a dark zone. I'm not afraid. Not a bit. I'm looking forward to all of it, Pops. Just wanted to tell you that... whatever, I have to go. I feel amazing! I can run faster, jump higher. I feel as strong as an ox. No, a fucking volatile. Killian says I handled the first dose really well. Now I gotta undergo 100 days of training. He introduced me to the others. I met Frank, our leader, and... I fucking talk too much. Killian officially became my training mentor. You'll hear about me soon, Pops. I'm gonna be a fucking legend! Hey, Pops. Today I was pulling civilians out of that dark zone I told you about, with Killian. It was my first dark zone ever. It wasn't that bad, except for just this one thing. We saved a mother and her children who got trapped in there, and I have no idea what got into me. But I wanted to go deeper. I wanted to keep going, find one more family, one more child. Make sure no one was left behind. I had to make sure. Killian tried to tell me we'd cleared the dark zone. For some reason, I didn't believe him. We argued. Middle of it all, a fucking viral jumped on my back. I thought it was... I'm alive only because of Killian. I wish I could talk to you about this. Who does Frank think he is? One minute he talks about my potential, the next he accuses me of reckless behavior. Says that I put others in danger. Back at the dark zone after we pulled that mother and her kids out. Fuck! We pulled it off, didn't we? What's so reckless about success? He spewed some line at me about how he's worried my metabolism isn't handling the shots as well as he thought it would. Can you believe this crap, Pops? My test results were always perfect. If you ask me, it says more about him than about me. He just can't bear someone standing up to him, especially not a young kid. Oh, and check this out. I was put on notice. He'd be watching me, he said. Fuck him. I'll give him something to watch. Hey, Pops. I'm just coming. I'm about to join the others. Frank gathered everyone. We're supposed to take the station and commandeer its broadcast capabilities. What fucking floor are they on? Actually, I won't lie to you. They told me not to come. To take a rest, whatever that means. But I couldn't just sit around doing nothing. Where the fuck are they? Ah! Didn't turn off the recorder. Pops. They almost got me. But they can't break down this door. I'll go up to the roof. I'll make sure we can broadcast to the city. I'll wait here for these fucking monsters to go away and then I'll slip out. I can't tell how long I've been trapped in here. I think they're gone. But I'll wait a bit longer, just in case. Remember when I was 5, Pops? And you took me to the lookout tower? When we got to the top, I was so proud that I made it. I was so exhausted I could hardly breathe. I thought you'd be proud of me. But all you said was that I sounded like some asthmatic old lady. I'm scared, Pops. Frank was right. I shouldn't have come here. But I wanted to show you that I wasn't the weakling you always told me I was. Okay. The volatile's gotta be gone by now. Yeah. The coast is clear.
Villedor. Why, it's another lovely day in the great city of Villedor. How did our fair city look several centuries ago? Originally known as Gressburg, a settlement on the banks of the Tersawa River, it received its city charter in 1033 from King Engelram IV, who renamed it Villedor. Thanks to trade with the East Indies, Villedor grew in importance during the 16th and 17th centuries, drawing in merchants from all over the world. The city's rapid expansion came to a halt in 1772 when the Great Linden Fire broke out. The blaze, which began in the warehouse of the Dutch merchant Jacob Linden, engulfed most of the old herring district and claimed thousands of lives. Yet, as the residents of Villedor say, these walls shake but never fall. Even as ruins were still smoldering, reconstruction began, with the new Elysium district rising from the ashes. Built from stone, taken from the quarries of old Villedor. Then, at the end of the 18th century, the Church of the Holy Trinity was built, a magnificent example of the neo-Gothic style. Look at the shimmering stained glass windows and prick up your ears. Is that the echo of prayers uttered by your ancestors? None of this would be here had Jacob Linden not had a thing for matches. Villedor. Tell me, Pilgrim, do these ancient walls not whisper their sacred history into your very ears? St. Paul's Cathedral is, along with Orla Castle, the oldest building in the city. It originated in 1010 as a Christian church that was built on the site of a former pagan temple. Subsequent work continued to expand the church, which became a cathedral in 1207. Its catacombs host many holy relics, including a toe from the left foot of St. Paul. This made the cathedral a popular Christian pilgrimage destination. In 1444, another relic, a finger from the apostle to the Gentiles, was stolen. Eventually, the cathedral's popularity began to wane, until it acquired a molar of St. Paul's. The cathedral briefly regained its status, only to see its pilgrimages decline steadily once more. Finally, after a 100-year period, the finger of St. Paul was recovered, and the cathedral was again able to attract thousands of faithful. Villedor! The VNC Tower is headquarters to the Villedor News Corporation TV channel. Measuring 310 meters in height, it is one of the tallest buildings in Europe. Its observation deck presents a magnificent view of the city, from the skyscrapers of the business district to the castle, Elysium, and Old Villador. VNC programs are watched by millions of viewers every day. They are broadcast around the globe and have been translated into many languages. The station earned its viewers' trust through reliable and professional reporting and award-winning documentaries. Recently, in a bid to grow their audience, the VNC began producing tabloid content and launched several entertainment channels. This spurred protests by some of its more traditional viewers, culminating in the incident known as Brian's Ultimatum. 38-year-old Brian Nedelec barricaded himself in the offices of the reality show Villedor Shore, insisting that the program be immediately canceled, or he would jump out of a window. Let us honor his memory with a moment of silence. VNC Television is an official partner of the Villedor Office of Tourism. Coming soon to the VNC, the 17th season of Villedor Shore, which will bring you romance, betrayal, lies, and love. Lots of love. I'll definitely be tuning in. Villedor! Old Villedor features the epitome of traditional urban architecture and atmosphere. It is a reflection of the epic history of our beautiful and proud city, nestled on the banks of the Tursawa River. Evidence of the area's first settlers has been traced to the beginning of the 9th century. The oldest district in the city is Horseshoe. During the later expansion of Old Villedor, the growing city added the Trinity, Houndfield, and Quarry End districts. This last area became the primary source of the stone used to rebuild Villedor after the Great Linden Fire. Though the quarry was shut down ages ago, you can feel how the legacy of its workers permeates the spirit of this place. The smell of sweat from powerful men with muscular arms, massive shoulders, legs like Corinthian columns, pitting their untamed might against the hard rock. Oh, those were the days. Villedor! Horseshoe is the oldest part of the city, with some buildings dating back to the 15th century. Its name comes from the shape of the walls that bordered it in the 17th century. The district is also home to the Water Tower, formerly the Bell Tower built out of a military outpost. Its small, winding streets bear odd names whose origins have faded with history. It's the home of the last craftsmen's workshops and antique stores, the spirit of a bygone era. The greatest poets sought inspiration in Horseshoe, and their souls soar above its rooftops still. Perhaps, brave traveler, you too will find inspiration here. Today, Horseshoe is a favorite meeting spot, especially for lovers. I, myself, once met a match from a dating app there whose bio said he was a 30-year-old dolphin trainer with the body of a Greek god. Unfortunately, the man who appeared was a 50-year-old vacuum cleaner salesman who brought his mother along. The date was a bust, but at least I was able to buy the latest Turbo Duster model at a killer price. Villedor! Orla Castle was erected in 1115 on a wooded hill. It became part of fortifications meant to protect the inhabitants of Villedor from the Vikings, who would invade by way of the river Tursawa. The castle survived not only the Scandinavian warriors' attacks, but also fires, plagues, and the world wars. It is as solid and stubborn as the inhabitants of Villedor themselves. Today, Orla Castle is one of Villedor's prime tourist attractions, which each year draws in thousands of visitors. Who amongst us has not wanted to feel, just for a moment, like a brave knight or beautiful princess? Still stirring up emotions are the dungeons, where they imprisoned the most dangerous rogues of their day. In all the dungeons' centuries of use, only one person managed to escape: Andrew Zarapatha. This seemingly docile accountant was sentenced to 15 years of prison for tax fraud. He had, however, one extraordinary talent. He could talk people to death, sometimes literally. Thanks to his unbearably wooden and dull tales, he was able to neutralize guard after guard and calmly walk out of the prison. What became of Andrew Sarapatha remains a mystery to this day.
What's with the radio silence lately, Honey Bunch? Could send a postcard at least. Or some panties. Do you, wear panties in heaven? God, I miss you. I'm sad you couldn't watch us build the canteen. The opening shindig we just had. The guys think we're onto something here. I love them. Killian, Anton.
See you, Frank? Careful with my tape recorder. You'll break it.
It'll be fine. Fuck off and good night. You know, ever since you left, my life's been dedicated to the Nightrunners. People been talking shit about us since the army booted us out, ignoring all the good we've done. They say we're junkies because of the inhibitors. They just don't get it. Anyhow, I grabbed Killian and Anton, and I said, let's build a home where everybody, and I mean everybody, can gather and feel safe. Remember, my old man was an architect. I picked up a few tricks here and there. And so a bit of fucking around and wham, we had a canteen. Ain't much to look at. Sort of an ugly child you love anyway. But now, everyone's got a place to come sit, drink, and talk. Nightrunners, PKs, survivors, hell, even renegades, if they behave. Well, Honey Bunch, haven't heard from me in a while, have you? Busy gardening? Man, you get lost in your own world. Made you easy to sneak up on bear hug. Couldn't do that now, what with the bum leg and all. So listen, Honey Bunch. Had an idea to bring hope to people cut off from each other, huh? All I needed was the VNC tower. Thought we could hack it. But now, except for me, everyone who went, they're all dead. The Nightrunner's are gone. Yeah. And all because of fucking Anton. Gave me some bullshit about the plan being suicidal. The night before the mission, he got in my face. With everyone watching. Oh yeah, I told him to fuck off. But didn't before. But he was a no-show. He even turned Killian against me. Maybe he thought I'd cancel the mission. Well, I didn't. And inside were a fuckload more volatiles than our intel led us to believe. We could have brought everyone together. Everyone. Even the PK. But it just proved to Matt we were junky losers like he'd been saying. Everything I'd fought for. The Nightrunners bringing hope to people, uniting the factions. All lost. They harm me, you know. And Dave, whose legs I watched get torn off by a volatile. Edgar. All of them. But the real pest is Ravik. I was pissed when he took Akon's side, but then the bastard showed up anyway. Stupid kid. Let's talk about something else. So, been thinking, maybe it's time I joined you, you know, huh?
Frank, lay off the bottle. You reek.
Don't like the stink? Then leave, Killian.
I can't watch you do this anymore.
Then close your eyes. Huh? Can you see them? Dave, Edgar, Ravik, and that other kid. What's his name? He wasn't Nightrunner material.
Anton. You were right about him, but not about the mission.
Would have been fine if we got in together.
Then we'd all be dead.
Shut up. Remember what I said? By doing this, we agreed to die. There are more important things than living, huh? Not everyone will understand it. They don't have to. We face death solemnly. This is the way from darkness to light. Load of fucking garbage.
Frank, get over yourself. And Ravik. What's done is done.
Out of my fucking face, Killian. I never want to see you again. I'm a moron. Fucking moron. I'd like to talk to you for hours, but people here, yeah. They just won't leave me the fuck alone. Even though I won't give me a break. Did I ever tell you about her? Took her in a few years ago when we were building that canteen. Raised by the nomads, she needed some guidance, yeah. I taught her what is right and what is wrong. At least I hope so. Yeah. But lately, though, she's been acting cocky, huh? Comes in like some PK sergeant to see if I'm drinking. Whoa, but she helps out around the canteen. Nice to be cared for again. Akon and Killian. Fuckers are long gone. That's right. Lawan's a complex creature. Clever, huh? Clever. But stubborn as a child. Do you remember how we wanted to have children? Sometimes, huh? I put the bottle down to help that snotty-nosed little broad with things. Maybe someday she'll finish the work I started, huh? Yeah. Whatever. I've kind of been neglecting her because of this drinking. I don't want her to do something stupid. She has this dark side. Yeah. This will be my last recording. Goodbye, Hannah. You were the best. Even if only in my drunken head. Tomorrow, I'll destroy these tapes. But, for now, cheers.
Dear listeners, you may find this strange, but to me, this is something very important. My daughter, Renata, is getting married in a week. She was supposed to get married over a year ago. She had invited over 200 guests. She was so happy. But then, you know, THV happened. We had to cancel everything. We were hoping that the GRE would get the situation under control, that the restrictions would be loosened over time. But as you can see, it's only gotten worse. Some of the overseas guests we invited, well, they're gone. In the end, we decided to hold the wedding with only those closest to us in attendance. It is very important to Renata and Waldeck that this happens. And for me, it's important to bake a cake for them. It has been a tradition in my family for generations. The mother bakes a wedding cake for her daughter. Unfortunately, a week ago, someone stole my hens. I realize that now most food, down to each small egg, is worth its weight in gold. But if some kind soul were to share some eggs with us, I would be eternally grateful. Stay healthy. Daria.
Hello, my dears. I hope you are holding on in these difficult times. You're healthy and safe, I trust. I am. Life over the past 77 years has tried to kill me, time and again. I guess I'm immortal. I live alone in a large house. My beloved wife, Valerie, passed away in 2018. Actually, I'm glad she died then, so that she didn't have to watch the planet go to hell. I have a son, Daniel, who lives with his wife and my 3 granddaughters in Berlin. But I haven't been able to contact them for months. I'm afraid that they have turned, though perhaps they have gone somewhere and simply have no means of communication. Anyway, if any of you are spending this Christmas alone, I have a large pantry still full of preserves made by my Valerie. And I'm a pretty good cook. Perhaps someone would like to keep me company. May the Holy Child's grace shine upon you. God bless.
Hello, my crazy crew. This is Seba. I have an amazing opportunity for you. A 3-year subscription to the most popular VOD service, whose name I can't say here, but you'll know it when you see it. For half price, and it's the full premium package. Add on to that a collection of the most popular lifestyle shows, including Lobster in 100 Ways, The Travel Channel, and Private Oases of Luxury. I don't think I need to mention a couple of adult channels. Access to all the latest blockbusters in 4K and HDR.
Sure, there hasn't been a lot of new production lately, but that virus is going to peter out, just like the one before it. Stop thinking about it, just go for it, because I got a lot of people who are nibbling at the hook already. This special offer won't last long. Act now, and I mean right now, and I'll throw in a massage chair as a bonus, in gently used condition. Come on, give me a call now, or you'll be kicking yourself tomorrow.
Hi, it's Clara.
And Adam, we feel a bit silly talking about it, but we're looking for teaching aids. Pretty specific ones. See, with all this fuss about finding food, water, or shelter, our parents never really told us about some other, let's say, basic needs.
Right.
Anywho, we heard that older generations had all sorts of fun ways to satisfy this need. So we're looking for advice, ideas, books if you have any, and accessories.
Adam's heard about this thing called PTSM, and he's been raving about it ever since.
It's BDSM, and you got pretty revved up about it too when we found those old pictures, I recall. Anyway, if you've got experience in these matters, we would appreciate the help.
Yes, we're also open to sharing experiences.
Not all of them, Clara, not all of them.
It's just past 8, June the 14th, 2022, and you're listening to Villedor News. On Tuesday, we witnessed the beginning of a mass exodus, the largest in human history. Governments are paralyzed and the GRE have fallen silent. People have lost hope. Hundreds of thousands of refugees from Gibraltar to Istanbul have gone looking for new homes. Their only wish: safety for themselves and their families. But this is a global catastrophe, not confined to Europe. Martial law in America is aggravating a country already in chaos over fuel rationing. Japan, hit by a variant of the THV, has been decimated. And here, across Europe, borders are quickly closing. Why does the GRE remain silent while so many voices cry out for help?
We have no means to travel, except our own feet. I can't go on much longer. But if we stop, we die.
We drove 800 kilometers, but they told us to turn back. Back to where? Might as well start digging our graves right here.
They attacked my mother the moment we arrived. Just pushed her out of the window. I blamed the GRE for this madness.
They turned their back on us the moment they let the virus leak from their labs. Turned their backs, so we could not see the money changing hands to pay for covering this all up. For Villedor News, this is Clarissa Mortimer. It's just past 8, March the 13th, 2023, and you're listening to Villedor News. Today saw the first meeting of the so-called Council of Mankind, comprised of the GRE and representatives of 6 countries and their militaries.
France, Russia, the United Kingdom, Italy, Germany, and Sweden formed a tripartite government. The council also declared...
Excuse me. That Villedor is the only safe city remaining in Europe. Further, the GRE pledged to dedicate all their resources to ensure the survival of the human race. Within an hour after the council meeting was adjourned, a wave of immigrants started to surge towards Villedor from across Europe. Are we ready for such a massive influx? I spoke with General Pratt.
Of course. Things may be a bit chaotic at first, but we'll find room for everyone. Excuse me, I'm being summoned.
That Europe's governments and the military find the GRE trustworthy given the circumstances is confounding. Perhaps this is why the GRE revealed the existence of GenMod, a purportedly lethal bioweapon in the fight against THV. Dear listeners, in spite of everything, I believe we can all rest easier tonight with reason to hope. For Villedor News, this is Clarissa Mortimer. It's just past 8, March the 6th, 2024, and you're listening to Villedor News. I'm Clarissa Mortimer. Tragic news from the old Villedor this evening. At noon today, skirmishes between civilian populations and the army escalated dramatically when soldiers opened fire on protesters just by the World Art Congress monument on Mill Street. 55 people were killed. 11 are in critical state at the St. Joseph Hospital. At 3:30 this afternoon, General Pratt declared martial law in response to the tragedy. We've received numerous reports from frightened citizens of soldiers going door to door. The military advises citizens to remain calm as they collect privately owned firearms, now banned in the martial law declaration. Riots have begun in immigrant camps across the city, and its border has been locked down. This will no doubt shift power to the military within the Council of Mankind, and result in a decline of the GRE's influence. As such actions are often followed by a suppression of the free press, we, here at Villedor News, are closely monitoring the situation. With tensions continuing to rise, we will remain on the air, late into the night. It's just past 10, June 20th, 2024, and you're listening to Villedor News. Ladies and gentlemen, a few hours ago, telephone service was suspended across the city. This comes in the aftermath of information that we have uncovered yesterday evening. Listeners, while I do not wish to contribute to the panic gripping our city, it is my duty, as it always has been, to tell you the straight truth. By telling you this truth, I may be placing a target on my back. So be it. And now, without the consent or approval of anyone around me, and taking sole responsibility for the consequences, I will now reveal this horrible truth to you, the people of Villedor.
Clarissa, stop! They're here! They have guns!
The authorities are no longer in full control. The recent martial law declaration was not about restoring order. It was to contain THV. There has been an outbreak within city limits, and a cover-up of that outbreak, the so-called sorting centers, are used as mass graves by the army.
Clarissa Mortimer, come with us!
General Pratt's soldiers have entered our studio. As I warned, the military is trying to muzzle the press.
You! Turn this off right now!
Don't touch me! I repeat, the authorities have lost control of THV!
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Eugene Kirkland, chairman of the Dynamo Cars Electric Car Factory Workers Union.
Employees of Dynamo Cars. As you all know, the Council of Mankind issued a decree today allowing military to seize the factory. I'm sure many of you are concerned. It's only natural. Dynamo Cars is our home. It allows us to provide a home for our families. But today's action serves a greater good. A higher purpose. A higher purpose for us all, upon which the very future of mankind depends. In a time when darkness has fallen suddenly upon us, we have the power to cast a ray of hope. God willing, with your courage, you will make this your home again as it becomes a solar plant, providing the power that will reshape the city around us. I know what I'm asking of you. But as we think of you continuing to provide you work, you think of how you will serve your neighbors as you adapt to these important changes. It is time to make history. All of humanity is watching us. Let's get to work.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man you've been waiting to hear, Bob Cheatkins, candidate for president.
My fellow citizens, let's get this out of the way. I will make you but one single promise during this campaign. Read my lips. No more lies. Well, you can't read my lips. Obviously, on immigration, museums, libraries. They say to me, Mr. Cheatkins, you're not like them. You have to make it stop. I swear, if you vote for me, I will probably not refuse to do the opposite of that. But my name is not Cheatkins. It is time for the people to take Villedor back. It is time to end the lies. Vote Cheatkins. No more lies.
Shh. Can you hear it? That's the sound of the apocalypse. They laughed when I predicted it. But who's laughing now? No one. It's not like I'm happy about all this. But I warned you. I warned you all. You didn't listen then. Maybe you will listen now. This is Nathan, here to learn you some survival skills. The end of the world isn't an excuse not to prep for it. Start digging a shelter today. And build a well. My podcast tells you how. Get as much sodium dichloroisocyanurate and silver chloride as possible. You can't survive without potable water. Stockpile as many cans of meat and fish as possible, especially herring. Well, if you're a vegetarian, well, it was nice knowing you. Check my recipe section to learn how to prepare tasty dishes using earthworms and other critters once the canned food runs out. And don't forget, you'll need to be able to defend yourself in the hellish afterscape. My 50 deadly weapons made of handy items course teaches you how to build feces bombs and a sardine slingshot, among other weapons. With my help, you might just survive the end of the world. Stay strong.
This message is sponsored by the government and approved by the GRE. Do you want to beat the virus? Do you want to save humanity? It's simple. Have more sex. This is the easiest and by far the most enjoyable way for mankind to survive. Have you done it 5 times this week already? Why not go for 15? Sex also has a positive effect on your overall health. It improves blood circulation along with your physical and mental abilities. We highly recommend the missionary position, as well as the posterior knee-elbow position. Gentlemen, improve the quality of your semen. Eat more spinach, broccoli, and eggs. For protein, insects are a must. Give birth to a beautiful new life. Let's make love, and let's save humanity together.
A very good morning to you. In recent years, I have presented you recipes for such delicacies as Wiener Schnitzel à la bœuf stroganoff or guinea fowl breast stuffed with chanterelles. However, these are extraordinary times and it's increasingly difficult to find certain ingredients. Which is why I invite you to my evening culinary program, during which I introduce several exciting recipes of pandemic cuisine. You will learn, among other things, how to elegantly replace beef with raccoon meat in spaghetti bolognese. Make a delicious soup out of the glue scraped from the back of the street posters and bake a birthday cake with substituting half the flour with plaster dust. Remember, with a bit of willpower and imagination, almost anything is edible. Tomorrow, I will tell you how to prepare succulent rat in a nettle sauce. Until next time, and bon appetit.
Ladies, gentlemen, it is my honor to open the first session of the Council of Mankind. Tuesday, the 21st of March 2023 in Villador.
The Council consists of the Party of Nations. Vice President Dmytro Klarpovsky replacing the critically ill President of Russia. France's Minister for External Affairs, Bastien Daquin. Sweden's Minister for External Affairs, Eva Trernat. First interim head of state after the coup d'etat in Italy, Sergio Esposito. The new Chancellor of Germany, Olga Radke. And the Chancellor of New Britain, created after Scotland's departure from the United Kingdom, William Hughes, in my humble person.
Condolences on the death of the Queen, Counselor.
The GRE is represented by GRE Chief Medical Officer Katsumi Kobayashi, and the Army by the Commander-in-Chief, General Pratt. Dear Council, the world is falling apart. Over 2 million people die every day in Europe alone, and we...
Mr. Hughes, can we skip ahead? We're all exhausted from our journeys. Some of us have had to travel over 4 days to reach Villedor.
Very well. Dr. Kobayashi, what is the city status?
So far, the infection seems to remain under control here in Villador. We've had a few isolated cases, but strict quarantine and containment protocols have slowed the spread of the virus. We plan to build humanitarian aid centers and safe corridors for the transport of food and drugs.
Please provide a detailed roadmap for all this tomorrow morning.
I am proposing we enact a regulation governing the relationship between the GRE and the Army.
General, the French Ministry of External Affairs will assist you in drafting such a proposal.
That will not be necessary. My people could...
That will be all, General Pratt. Next order of business.
Tuesday, the 17th of July, 2023. We hereby begin the 17th session of the Council of Mankind. As you are all aware, the global situation is degrading rapidly. We have several reports confirming Pakistan did indeed drop a nuclear bomb on the Indian region of Jammu. Entire countries are being declared lost to the virus. Hungary, Croatia, Portugal, Austria, Finland, and the British Prime Minister died of THV last week. Ladies and gentlemen, we must face the facts. It is the responsibility of those of us in this room to start a new chapter for humankind.
As history shows, it would not be the first time that international cooperation pulled the world from crisis.
You are in a fine mood today, Minister Daquin.
General Pratt, we would like to hear your report now.
At once, Monsieur Daquin. Agricultural facilities and warehouses are being seized, and the main distribution hub is being managed by the GRE under the watchful eye of the Army. The Army's cooperation with the GRE has so far been exemplary.
I concur.
Thank you, Dr. Kobayashi. We control the streets and checkpoints in the area. We've secured electrical substations and water towers. Despite initial opposition from workers, we finally managed to convert the former Dynamo Cars, the electric car factory, into a solar power plant.
Now, please, Dr. Kobayashi, we would like to hear the progress on the GRE initiatives.
Thank you. The first tests of the THV GenMod compound were successful. It shows unparalleled chemical stability, and its ability to degrade the DNA of infected cells is remarkable. We may finally have a key weapon against the virus within reach.
No time to delay, Dr. Kobayashi. Please, provide samples to the Army. We'll do our own tests.
It's too soon for that. Research takes time.
I submit a motion for the GRE to provide the Army with THV GenMod samples and submit to military supervision over the GRE itself.
General Pratt, history shows rushing science leads to catastrophe. There are people who...
General Pratt is right, Dr. Kobayashi. Extreme situations call for extreme measures. I accept the motion for the handover of the current GenMod component samples to Army research labs. Dr. Kobayashi, you will help General Pratt move forward with a weapon concept using your compound as a basis. Who is for? Thank you. Who is against? Thank you. Who abstains? Thank you. The motion has been passed by 5 to 3 votes. Dr. Kobayashi, Please begin the necessary procedures.
The 9th of June, 2024. We hereby begin the 52nd session of the...
Minister, what's going on?
I have shut off all power at the VNC Tower. The people of this city must not know the full extent of the virus outbreaks. Is this some kind of joke, General? Wait. You knew about it, Klarpovsky, didn't you?
Do you want panic? A coup d'etat? We cannot lose control of the city. Why do you think the other council members were arrested?
We need to speed up work on the THV GenMod and have it ready for use.
The GenMod is not ready. You know that we have discovered highly dangerous side effects, right? The GRE does not recommend...
Silence, Katsumi. In other news, a massive influx of migrants from Asia have massed the city gates in recent weeks. Tens of thousands of people. And the second largest camp in Europe, located in Greece, has collapsed. Its refugees are heading here as well.
God.
Thankfully, we've reinforced the new walls, and we suppressed the most recent THV outbreak.
This is the last resort, General. These are families with kids. Humans like us. Remember? The Council of Mankind? The protocol states that...
Spare me, Kobayashi. It's too late for all that crap. The GRE is becoming villain. At least that's what the people are starting to think more and more each day.
You're pitting them against us, General.
Nonsense. I am merely stating a fact.
This is a travesty. A travesty.
Report 24-2036, 130th day of the year. It's been 6 months since the funds ran out. 20 since any improvement has been seen. Patient unconscious. After administering the compound, blood pressure increased slightly. Noticeable pupil movement. The only chance for progress is to go back to X-13. If the information can be confirmed, and the GRE key has been found by Commander Lucas, there is a chance to further this research. It must succeed at all costs. Report 13-2036, 105th day of the year. Funds gone. An attempt to recreate the compound. Still unsuccessful. Patients react with uncontrollable aggression. Increasing psychophysical abilities. As I no longer have test subjects, I am testing the compound on myself. Report 20-2036, 126th day of the year. An old Villedor informant has reported that Commander Lucas has found it. He has found the GRE key. This means that it is possible to enter X-13 again. I've sent a reconnaissance team under Dillon's command to the old Villedor subway station. I am waiting for a report.
Generators activated. Only got the antenna left.
Cool. Listen, Brasco. I know Sierra's death hit you hard. I just want you to know. You can always count on me, man. Brasco! Did you trip on something? Man, you didn't fall into that fucking pit, did ya? He swept. Who the fuck are you? I told him to be careful. Didn't even have time to thank him for activating the generators for us. Fuck! Base! Reinforcements! The renegades took over the radio station! I'm near the exit! Fuck! I'm surrounded!
radio station is now property of the Renegades. How about we hear a show for you, huh? Here, listen to our latest jingle.
Little Ron the base? The exit downstairs is jammed, so we're gonna try and find a way out at the top. Sierra and I found Private Kitty in the lobby on the lowest level. What's that stink? Kitty, did you just fart? Is that how happy you are to see us? What? No, I didn't. Ha! We missed you, punk. Did you hear that? We better get our asses out of here. Admit it, Sierra. You're the one who farted and tried to blame me. Ah! Did you? What the fuck was that? I don't care! To the stairs! Base, there's a swarm of biters chasing us. We lost Kitty in the lobby. Run! I'm on the second floor. I'm one down from you, right by the door. I'll be right up. Ah! Run! Keep going, Sierra! Fucking many of them! You coming? Ron, are you up here? Ron, is that you? No, no, ah, ah!
Don't you find it strange that a group of Bazaarians wants to hand us over an injured PK in a place like this?
Take it easy, Auntie.
Chris, behind you! How many times do I have to tell you? Don't call me Auntie! Private First Class Bartez is depressing enough!
Sure thing, Auntie.
Chris, watch out! There's too many of them! Let's go up, Chris! Up! Say hello to Jack and Joe!
Bosses! Bartez! What happened?
She took down 7 jigs, but it wasn't...
She's dead, Chris. More Dukes coming our way. We gotta withdraw.
I'm staying put, Fishbowski.
Chris! Bartez didn't save your ass so that you could get yourself killed. Let's go! Come on. To Sierra and Brasco!
To little Ron and Bartez. Here's to Nemechek.
Lieutenant Rowe, with all due respect, but Nemechek was a disgrace.
Don't talk like that about the dead, Wierzbowski. We officers are taught that when a PK is sloppy, you have to harden them. And that day, when Nemechek overslept for maneuvers, I sent him to the old brickyard for a night shift. Knowing he could die. Yeah, Chris. And I couldn't fall asleep that night. At 4 o'clock, I ran to get him. But it was too late. I left him on his own, and I've never been able to forgive myself. Now you understand why I train my unit differently from others. Well, first your brother, then the world.